Hello, welcome to the video, welcome to the conversation. So today's conversation is going to be based on love, the conversation that God wants me to speak about today. I have pulled some cards to get a theme, a topic, a conversation that God would like me to speak about. And God's choice of conversation today is that of love. You know, love is definitely the most powerful force on earth. It's the most powerful force available to mankind. It's the most powerful force within creation, in my opinion. If it's the most powerful force for us as human beings, it must be the most powerful force in general. You know, God is known as love and light. And if a lack of light is darkness, and darkness is hate and lies and all things negative, then light must be love and all things positive. So there's an argument to make that God's power is love. But yeah, God wants me to talk about love today. So you know, as human beings, we can manipulate love with our minds, meaning the love that we feel. In a positive way, I'm talking about like in a creative way. So if I'm ever doing anything spiritual, if I'm ever doing anything... So early on in my spiritual journey, one of the things that I used to like to do was make clouds disappear. I remember when I was a child travelling on the motorway in the UK, I used to look at the clouds. I'd have a long time to be able to look out the window and just wonder at the clouds. And I remember I used to look at the clouds and think, I'm sure that I can make these clouds move with my mind. And I used to put so much mental effort into trying to make them move, and they never did in the way that I was trying to get them to move. And then when I became an adult, I realised that we can make clouds move. We can make clouds disappear and dissolve, fade away into nothing. It's really, really a magical experience. It's one of the first things that really set me on the journey of self-discovery to a certain degree. Like, it really showed me the power of the mind. And one of the main ingredients to get clouds to move, for me, I used to generate a feeling of love. I used to think about people that I loved so much. When I first started out, I used to think about people that I loved. I remember watching this exercise on a video once, and they said, think about somebody that you love. So let's do the exercise now, if anyone's watching this. Close your eyes, think about somebody that you love. And when you think about the person that you love, feel the feeling of love within your stomach, within your heart area, within your core. Feel that feeling of love. Now make that feeling more intense. Expand that feeling. And as you make the feeling more intense, just by the power of your mind, expand it even further. Expand it all over your body. Expand it outside of your body now. Now expand it even more and feel it even more intensely. you can just keep on stepping up the feeling of intensity. You can open your eyes now. When you do this exercise, you can feel the feeling of love more intensely as you push it further and further. And that is the power that we have over love, over the feeling of love within ourselves. And then after, so that was something that I seen years ago. Now, when I first started getting clouds to move, the strategy that I found wasn't talking about love. It was talking about just using your mind, basically, and asking the cloud to go to a certain degree and calling upon forces of nature to assist you. But I used to like feeling this feeling of love and directing that love up towards the cloud and directing the love into the exercise of getting the cloud to move. And I used to find that would give my power in making the cloud dissipate and disappear a stronger effect. And that same idea of using the power of love as a source as an energy source to fuel your desires, to fuel your actions in life, is a good idea. It's a good idea. If we use love as a fuel to drive forward everything that we do in life, it can only be a good thing, because love is a good thing. And at first, when I used to do this exercise, I used to have to think about somebody that I loved to feel that feeling of love. But after doing it so many times, I could just think love and get the feeling there straight away. Like my ability to use love as a fuel and love as a driving force, as an energy source, became almost second nature. Like it became so easy for me to do. And that's what we have to take that into consideration when we go out into the world and we're trying to create the lives that we desire, when we're trying to create a world that we want to see. You know, we've done even the inner world that we want to see. If we fuel all the work that we do by love, it makes the work that we're doing as powerful as it possibly can be. And that's what all this is about. Life is about getting results. Life is about a lot of things, but when it comes to doing things, we only ever do things to get results. So when it comes to doing these things, whatever it may be, the power of love is a key to achieve what it is that we want to achieve. And that's basically what this overall reading that God gave me to give me the topic was talking about. It's talking about our ability to tap into the power of love through the mind, even though love's a feeling that we feel here, it's through our mind where we have the most access to it, because we decide what we want to do in life. Do you know what I mean? And where I said to you just now about these techniques that I've used to you know, create whatever it is that I want to create at that time. You know, even manifestations, when it comes to manifestations, I use that feeling of love as a fuel. So when it comes to seeing my desired outcomes in life, no matter what it is, I'll use love. And the first place that I direct that love from is my mind. You know, I have to think, use love, use the power of love, generate that power of love. It's almost become a program now where it's just the process that happens, so I don't really have to think it. But in the early days when I first started using love as a power source to do everything that I wanted to do, it was a conscious thought. And that's what the overall theme of this conversation is about today. Our ability to consciously use and direct love as and when we please. And the power of that on the outcomes that we desire to see. So the first card, the Knight of Swords, is talking about, you know, taking that swift mental action. The second card, the King of Cups, towards being and so taking that strong, swift action towards love, towards allowing love to be the leader of everything that we do. Allowing love to be the driving force behind all of our endeavors. The third card, the Two of Wands, for me, that means God, me and God. When that card comes up for me personally, when I'm, you know, pulling cards for something that I'd like to gain some outside insight. That's what that means, but in this case that isn't what it means. You know, just before we're setting out on our journeys, it's basically saying what I've just spoke about. To use the power of love in all of our endeavors. And it's no point using the power of love like halfway through our endeavors. We need to use the power of love through every stage, but the most important stage would be at the beginning. You know, when we're first formulating this plan, before we're putting the energy out into the world, we should be using love to put it out into the world. Using love as an energy source to push it out into the world. And the world is in our hands. Like, the world is our oyster, well and truly. Like, whatever it is that we choose to do, wherever it is we choose to go, without the man-made up restrictions that there are, when we live as true sovereign beings, Truly, the whole world is our oyster. We can go anywhere, be anything. So this is talking about moving forward. It's not just talking about the now, it's talking about in the future. This is the world that we have to look forward to. A world where all actions, all decisions, all endeavors of every member of mankind one day on this planet will be driven by love. Which is a beautiful idea. It's not even an idea, it's a beautiful fact to know. I can't wait for them days that all actions of all mankind are driven by love. The fourth card, strength. There's strength in living this way. There's strength in living by those ideals of love enshrouding every action, every thought, every endeavor, every second and every minute of the day, for everybody. Like, we've lived life so long with so much darkness ruling our day-to-day lives, it almost feels impossible to be able to accurately like be in that place within my mind, that place where everything, every second and every minute of the day being ruled by love, every single mind, every single action, just everything that's going on in our day-to-day lives being fueled by love. The world will be a beautiful place. You know, we no longer will be thinking of self, because love is not selfish. Just by the reflection shining back at us for being filled with love inside, the outside of us, our outside world, will have to reflect that love back to us. And then it becomes a self-feeding loop of love. And that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to think about. The fifth card, the Fool. Love is what opens up mankind's ability to break out of the box, to not have any restrictions, to literally have unlimited potential. Unlimited potential comes from this, comes from the that place of unrestricted love, that place of like true, authentic love. And not love for anything in particular, just love for love's sake. You know, when when we allow love to be the fuel behind every thought, every action, every single thing that we do, love then becomes its own force. It's not love for somebody, love for self, love for any of these things. It's just love for the sake of love. The power of love will take over. The unlimited potential of love will take over. And that accumulation of love being used as the creative energy source will be God on earth. Love is God. So allowing love to be a source of fuel behind every single action, every single thought, every single word that comes out of our mouth. You know, like I said about when I first started using love as an energy source, I had to like consciously think about it, but now it just happens automatically, autonomously. Like there's no effort behind it, it just happens. And that's what will happen in the future. Love will become its own program. It's a beautiful thing to look forward to. And at the bottom of the deck was the Emperor. What's better? The boss who leads, so, you know, we've all had jobs. The boss who leads with a frown on his face or her face and, you know, absolutely zero care. Absolutely zero nurture. Just expecting your time, your energy, your magic, without any thanks, without any sign of appreciation. In fact, the opposite. The energy of being despised in the place of gratitude. That kind of leader, or a leader who has a nurturing touch to their leadership. You know, they lead with empathy, they lead with love, they lead with care. They lead with thoughtfulness. They treat you like a human being. In allowing love to be that driving force in our lives, and we don't have to wait for the future. We can all, on an individual basis, live these lives now and be an example for the rest of the world. Be an example for those around us. Be an example for the future. The wildlife is wildlifing today. There's butterflies flying around. The ducks are back in the... It's not even a pond, it's like a river basin, almost. I don't know what a river basin is, but like a stream runs through this land and collects in this little area down there before it overflows and carries on. And there's some ducks literally loving life in that little collection of water right there. There's other birds. It's an absolutely beautiful day. Fluffy clouds in the sky. This world deserves love. God's creation deserves love. It's such a beautiful, beautiful creation. Naturally, like, if it's left alone, it's what beauty's made of. And it's been tainted for far too long. You know, the things that we do to this planet that sustains us no matter what is shameful. It really is shameful, really. You know? And so unnecessary as well. And because we allow the leaders, the so-called leaders of this world, to make decisions without any reprise, and we allow, as a whole, humanity allows our thinking to be manipulated by whatever it is that they say, whatever it is their scientists are paid to say. We kind of just lap it up and reform our thoughts and our beliefs around what it is that their paid agencies say, in order to swing our minds, in order to swing our beliefs and decisions on whether these things are right or wrong. To consider the world to be overpopulated is farcical, absolutely farcical. Like, how could the world be overpopulated? The world could have fucking 20 times the population that it's got right now and still not be overpopulated. There's so many things that can be reinvented, and so many processes that can be reinvented, and so many things that seem right now to be a necessity of our everyday lives that could be reinvented. And in the past they have been reinvented, and a lot of the technologies that were made, and a lot of the processes that were discovered and whatnot, were all swept under the carpet and hidden. And instead, this narrative that we're overpopulating the planet and we're killing off the planet. Listen, if the people that ruled this planet, if the people we've allowed to rule this planet cared about the planet being, like, raped and, you know, taken advantage of, and cared that there was too many people to sustain living off this planet in the way that they do, they wouldn't be treating the planet the way they are. It's the leaders of this world that do the worst things to this planet without any thought of the beauty of it. And that's, you know, a conversation for another day, because there's a lot of different things that can be gone into there, and I'll be more than happy to go into them. I'll be more than happy to go into them. That is what I live for, really. Doing what's right, realizing what's wrong. I love to problem solve. Absolutely love it. There's been thousands, tens of thousands of people that's came before us and that are walking the earth right now who have a passion for problem solving and put their life's work into solving problems of the world. And all of those ideas were silenced to a certain degree because they want to carry on tearing our world apart because they earn good money from certain aspects of the tearing apart of our world. You know, whether that be, I remember I was reading about Henry Ford, and Henry Ford made plastic that he wanted to make his cars out of, a hemp-based plastic that when put under test was like super durable, more durable than the metals that they was using in cars at that time, and more safe as well. If somebody was to get hit by it, it would have been a lot less damage done than the metals that were used at that time. It was cheaper to make. It would have caused less body work needed to be done on cars. It was lighter, and it was super sustainable. For anyone that may have experience with hemp plants and how quick they grow and how abundantly they can grow under the right conditions. Hemp is a very usable material for the modern world, and it's just not used as much as it was. It was used hugely in the late 18 and early 1900s. It was a staple of everyday use. It was a staple of everyday living. Medicines were formulated out of it, very efficient medicines. Clothes, ropes, plastics. Plastics weren't a thing in them days, but in the days that Henry Ford invented his hemp plastic, it was. But steel was a very big proponent at that time. They was using steel for a lot of different things, and the same people that lead the world today, the same industrialists from them days, are the rich elites that have a massive say over the people that rule the world these days. I'd argue the people that we think rule the world don't. It's not the governments and stuff. They're puppets of these kind of people. They sell out for or to the highest bidder. That's what governments do. And these people who were the industrialists of them days ended up outsmarting the governments, outsmarting the royalty. Because it was the royals that ruled at one stage. And then they passed the buck to the governments. The royals and the governments of the world were outsmarted by, I want to say the communists, but they're not communists. by the business world, let's just say. The bankers, the industrial leaders. The right word isn't coming to mind right now, which is slightly annoying, but that's fine. The people with the money outsmarted everybody else. And now those people have slowly took over the decision making and the thought processes and the silencing of the solutions. But anyway, like I said, these conversations for another day. For now, thank you.